OpenAI just claimed they've secured $1.4 trillion in funding commitments for AI infrastructure. That's more than 15 times what the entire industry currently uses. Here's what happened. Sam Altman went public with some absolutely wild numbers. He says OpenAI has commitments for 30 gigawatts of compute power. The entire AI industry right now? 1.9 gigawatts. But that's not even the craziest part. Altman claims he's already raised between $100 and $200 billion. And get this, he wants OpenAI building a gigawatt of compute every single week. Do the math on that, and you're looking at trillion-dollar annual spending. Now here's where it gets interesting. The semiconductor executives at TSMC, the company that actually makes the chips powering all this AI, they reportedly called Altman a podcast bro and dismissed his claims entirely. That tells you everything about how the industry views these announcements. When the people who would actually benefit from selling you chips think you're full of it, that's a problem. But here's what nobody's talking about. This isn't just about OpenAI making big claims. This is about the entire AI industry heading toward what economists call a natural oligopoly. Think about airlines or semiconductor manufacturing. The fixed costs are so massive that only a few players can survive. AI infrastructure is following the exact same pattern. The costs double every few years. Pretty soon, you need hundreds of billions just to stay competitive. And here's OpenAI's problem. They don't have the cash flows that Google, Microsoft, or Amazon have. Remember, OpenAI had zero revenue just 3 years ago. Zero. Now they're trying to play in the same league as companies with hundreds of billions in annual cash flow. So they're doing what any startup would do. They're raising capital. Lots of it. But there's a catch that most people miss. In a moment, I'll show you why this funding strategy might backfire spectacularly. But first, let's talk about what commitment actually means in Silicon Valley. When Altman says he has $1.4 trillion in commitments, that doesn't mean $1.4 trillion is sitting in a bank account. It means people have said they'll invest if certain conditions are met. The industry has a term for this: braggawatts. It's when companies announce massive compute commitments that may never actually materialize. And there's another issue: circular revenue arrangements. This is where Company A invests in Company B, and Company B spends that money buying services from Company A. It looks like growth, but it's just accounting tricks. Now this is the part that changes everything. If OpenAI can't actually deliver on these promises, they're not just embarrassing themselves. They're potentially destroying the credibility of the entire AI funding ecosystem. Investors are already getting nervous about AI valuations. If one of the biggest names starts looking like vaporware, that could trigger a broader correction. But if Altman is telling the truth, if OpenAI really can secure this level of funding, then they're not just competing with tech giants, they're potentially becoming one. The stakes couldn't be higher. We're watching a company with no revenue 3 years ago try to outspend Google and Microsoft at their own game. Either this is the most audacious, successful fundraise in tech history, or it's about to become the most spectacular flameout. And honestly, the TSMC executives calling Altman a podcast bro suggests which way the smart money is betting. What happens next depends entirely on whether these commitments turn into actual cash, and whether OpenAI can build infrastructure fast enough to justify trillion-dollar valuations. One thing's certain: the AI infrastructure arms race just got a lot more interesting. Comment below with the biggest tech funding flop you remember. I want to see if this tops your list. If you want to see how AI companies are actually making money right now, check out this video right here. And subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's breakdown.